So, new update on the strawberries. For starters, I have taken out the bottom watering setup that I had. Um, the reason being is it wasn't working as well as I had hoped when I set it up. I think the tray was a little too large to work for all of them at once. It became kind of stagnant and boggy smelling. So it kind of signaled to me that it wasn't working. I took it out. Also, the capillary action that I referenced wasn't functioning as well as I had hoped. And that can happen sometimes with setups like that, is you'll get pockets of dry spots that aren't just transferring that water upwards. And in conjunction with that, I think the roots of the strawberries hadn't grown down far enough. But the main reason I got rid of it is because of the bogginess and smell, and it just wasn't a good overall setup. So I now have them here like this again, and I'm going to go over a few things that I haven't touched on before, and that is kind of cleaning up the dead or diseased leaves to improve airflow and keep your strawberries healthy. So stuff like this, stuff that's yellowing and browning, you can give it a little tug, and if it gives way, that means the plant was ready to get rid of that leaf anyway. So let me see here. Here is one that's already browned. I'm going to tug on it. It came right out, so that one was ready to go. And I'm going to take this out because it might start molding down on the soil, and I just don't want the chance of extra disease happening in here. So here's another one. Take that out. Another. And then another. So that one's not ready to come off, so I'm not gonna push it. There's one. Yeah, see, it comes right off if it's ready to. So another thing that I haven't referenced, and I don't think I have an example here that I can use it on, but I'll explain. So if you have planted strawberries into a fresh pot and they start to flower, then you can help it encourage more root growth instead of working on fruit production by just picking those flowers. And it will, instead of putting that energy into that flower, it'll put it into more root growth, and then you will ultimately have healthier plants and then healthier strawberries because it wasn't initially working on those flowers. So the only one that I have that's still small and looks maybe not totally established is this one, and it doesn't have any flowers on it, so I can't show you, but you get the idea. You would just come along on a plant that's not, it doesn't seem like it's established a good set of roots yet, and you would pluck the flowers off to encourage it to send that energy to the roots and get those roots established. The other thing that I've been learning about strawberries is that a lot of your problems will be solved by using a hanging setup from the beginning. And because of my yard being so small and the sun only coming from certain directions, because of the trees and the houses and the fence and stuff like that, the hanging setup is not as easy to do for me. I might figure it out at some point, but it hasn't been a good setup for me since I tried it the first time. So what I have here are these little trays that you can kind of boost up the fruit on so that they're not sitting on the soil and being vulnerable to slugs, mold, disease, all of that stuff. So these have been really, really neat since I put them in. They really solve a lot of those issues. And I just got these off of Amazon. They're just little parts you put together here. I didn't use them. I'm using them a little bit more freeform. The instructions have you put them in a circle like this, but this one, I just have it propped up like that, and it's doing the job just fine. It's like a little scaffolding for your strawberries to keep the fruit off the soil. And once these other plants start pumping out berries, I'm going to set them up on these. And it'll be interesting trying to do it with all of these ones, but I think it'll work just fine. So yeah, that's some further tips on growing strawberries and some little things to watch out for. I hope that helps.